or rather tonight, we are talking about Santa Claus. And this first of all, this lipstick's not working, but we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna talk about Santa Claus and his many origins. And he has many, or shall I say, he has like more iterations. I don't really know how to put it, but the story goes deep. And honestly, when I was working on this, I didn't even know where to start, really. I was very like, I don't know. I didn't know where to start, but I did my best, so we'll see where we go. So the idea of Santa Claus goes back to Scandinavia. The origins of Santa Claus in that region vary by country. So he is said to be heavily influenced by Odin. Yes, Thor and Loki's daddy. Their daddy was Santa Claus. Wild. And there are comparisons to Odin and Santa in appearance and in traditions. Then it branches out from there. So in Denmark, Santa lives in Greenland. Santa was born under a stone in Drobak, or the Oslo Fjord. In Sweden, Santa is based on a gnome called, I believe it's pronounced Tomte or Nisa or Nisi. And in Finland, Santa is, I meant to put down the pronunciations, but Santa is what editing me. So the Finnish word for Santa Claus is pronounced Joulupukki. Just wanted to let you all know. All right, let's continue. Which is a Christmas goat or a buck from Norse mythology. So he is also Jultomiten, or an elf who is said to deliver presents in a sleigh pulled by goats. Now, Finnish Santa Claus is based on more of a pagan tradition, where a man dressed as a goat would deliver presents. He is said to have moved to a secret workshop under Korvententuri, or it's also called the Korvententuri Fell, which I don't really know the definition of a fell, but when I looked at pictures of it, and I'll put a picture up for you, it is a mountain. So this area is also home to reindeer and often blanketed with snow. So you can see like where the Santa Claus, traditions start. So as the years will progress from the earlier years, like basically pre-Christianity, Santa's image will change and mingle, or rather before Christianity gets to Scandinavia, that's what I mean. His image will change and mingle as the years pass and Christianity spreads. So Saint Nicholas was a monk or bishop, and this is why we call Santa Claus Saint Nick, and it goes back to this. So, like I said, St. Nicholas was a monk or a bishop, depending on who you talk to, or, who you're, more so, like, where that person's from. And he was alive during the 3rd century. So, Nicholas was born in 280 AD in Patara, which is part of modern-day Turkey. And the legend states that Nicholas had a giving spirit despite coming from a wealthy family. He would travel the country, helping those less fortunate, along with helping the sick. He would also live a life of humility, being that he was a monk. So he would actually die on December 6th, which is why St. Nicholas's Day is December 6th. And St. Nicholas would later be canonized by Pope Eugene IV in June 1446. And later, he would become the patron saint of children and sailors. And I see the children part. I was going to look up the sailors part too, but I think that's more. So, that's not related to this video. But you can see why he would be the patron saint of children. When looking at pictures of St. Nicholas, you can see where the cultures and religions merged. So St. Nicholas wears red and white, much like Santa Claus does, although his red and white is more so, religious robes. He also sports a white beard much like Odin is portrayed. So Odin is portrayed, he really does look like Santa Claus. Like he actually does. So that's what I mean by that. Excuse me. And he is also known for gift giving. They also considered, I think it was, like I said, everything merges and mixes and melds together. So he will be known, Saint Nick will, as a jolly old elf, especially in modern day songs. And I'm sure you've heard a few that mention him as a jolly old elf. So, when the Dutch come to what will become the U.S., specifically New York or New Amsterdam, oh, and by the way, little plug, if you have not seen my Haunted New York video, you should check it out. It's really good. I mean, I like it. Of course, I created it, but anyways, these Christmas traditions were brought over as well. So the traditions of St. Nicholas, and other, places, other traditions from Scandinavia. And these traditions will be further cemented into American culture when immigrants from Scandinavia in the 1800s came over in a kind of second wave. So, the Dutch found New York, founded the colony, I guess you could say, the colony New York. And then when immigrants started coming over in the 1800s for a better life here into America, that's how we get even more of those traditions reinforced into American culture. So prior to the 1800s, St. Nicholas / Santa Claus was seen as a gaunt, terrifying figure. So this is where we get just a little bit creepy. So when you see pictures of him, if I can find a picture, I'm going to post it. He really does, or put it up on here rather. He really does look like just emaciated and gaunt and very. Think if you've ever seen it. I can't believe I'm saying this in a Christmas video. If you've ever seen A Christmas Carol and you look at the Ghost of Christmas Present, who is also based off of Santa Claus and the St. Nicholas mythos or myth, when he starts getting older, in some tellings of the Ghost of Christmas, you'll notice that as Scrooge's time with the Ghost of Christmas Present goes on, the Ghost of Christmas Present starts to look older and kind of thinner and, elderly. And that is at least how I imagined when I initially was researching this and then saw pictures of how Santa Claus was portrayed. Now, that would all change with the Victorians. And it's so interesting. For all their darkness and terrifying ghost stories and their obsession with death, they really go in on Christmas. And I think it's because it's one of the darkest times of the year. And, they just want to have a good time. So they will be the ones to come up with the heartwarming image of Santa Claus that we know today. So a lot of the good cheer and the warm fuzzies we get, like I said, come from them. Prince Albert and Queen Victoria popularized the German Christmas tree decor tradition, which is what we do today. The image of Santa Claus as we know today, so modern day, was created in 1823 by Clement Clark Moore and his 3 daughters in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So this poem would pull from Scandinavian traditions as well, but that's when we hear about him being a jolly old elf and, him shaking like a bowl full of jelly, all of those things. That is where we get the Santa Claus that we know of today, and, the Coca-Cola Santa Claus and all of that. Santa Claus has so many names around the world. He is known as Sinter Klaas in Dutch, Kris Kringle in German, and Kris Kringle, it's interesting. Kris Kringle actually hangs out with St. Nicholas. They're a team. So St. Nicholas has got, if you remember from the last video, he's got Krampus, He's got Kris Kringle, and they're like a trio or quad. They're friends. You have Pere Noel in France. In Italy, Santa Claus takes the form as a woman called La Befana. And I realized, once again, 1990s elementary school Colin with these memories, I colored a picture of La Befana as a child. And I've heard stories about La Befana as a child. So it's interesting. I really hope that the kids of today are getting all this knowledge that you or I, would have gotten as children, learning about cultures around the world, especially as it relates to Christmas. So anyways, La Befana is a kindly witch who rides around on a broomstick delivering gifts to deserving children. Now, if you're bad, she will leave you coal, or she'll leave you garlic and onions. I don't know why, but that feels like such an insult. It's like, it's not enough you're bad, but you're gonna get garlic and onions. And I think it's because not a lot of people like garlic and onions. Like, they're not, something that people go off for by themselves, at least. But I just thought that was interesting. And it kind of actually has an Italian touch to it, because garlic and onions are prevalent, rather, in Italian cooking. So I just thought that was kind of funny. She has been said to do this also on the Epiphany Eve, which is January 5th, which is, I believe, 12 days after Christmas, or during Christmas. So there's also stories of her doing this during Christmas. And it's interesting because La Befana's gift giving, I guess, process or tradition is similar to what you see with the with Scandinavian Santa Claus or American Santa Claus. Well, no, more so Scandinavian Santa Claus. So she puts little gifts and trinkets and candies in a stocking. And it does tie in with the modern American Santa Claus with stocking stuffers. And the same can be said with Pere Noel. So all of these, it's so interesting that all of these cultures, with all these amalgamations of Santa Claus, even with different names, respective to their, not respective, but to their country, to these different countries, have similar traditions. And her story is kind of cool, because there's also it's pretty sad, pretty sad and dark version of her story. There's one that's light and very, very sweet, but then there's a dark side to La Befana's story. So I'll be giving her own video. But yeah, that is the end of the Santa Claus video. I mentioned some other Santa Clauses at the end of the video, and I'm going to do some TikToks on them. So Pere Noel, all of those, they're going to get their own separate little TikTok. So, once again, this is a short video, and I hope you all enjoy. Actually, I'm going to give y'all a bonus video. A bonus story. Since I didn't do anything for Thanksgiving, I have a little holiday related funny story for y'all. So, traditionally, before my grandmother came down with dementia, we would go to her house and celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving. And this is especially during Thanksgiving. Black Friday is the next day. So we're going to go out shopping, and the best shopping to us was always on the north side of town. And she lives in the city, or her house is in the city. So this is where, this is why we would stay with her. So one Thanksgiving, I think I was in college, we decided we would stay at her house and go from there. So, can't remember which video I mentioned this in, but if you've seen the video or if you recall from one of my videos, you know that my grandfather died in the house in his bedroom. And so my grandma has her own bed, and then there's 2 couches. There used to be a bed in the basement, but she moved that out. So this leaves my granddad's bedroom and bed empty. Y'all, it was me and my cousin, my aunt, and my mom. My aunt I don't think that she believes in ghosts per se, but I don't know. I don't think she believes in ghosts. So she's like, y'all are stupid. I'm gonna go sleep in my dad's room. Meanwhile, my mom, my cousin, and I are fighting over the 2 couches and the floor. So, it was so sad. My mom got one couch, I got the other couch, and my cousin got the floor. And my grandma really didn't understand why we were fighting over the bed. I guess she really didn't think about it, because she'd been living there by herself since he had died in 2001. This is like 2015, 16. No. This is like 2011, 2012. So she was just like, y'all were, But I'll say later the next day. That would make sense. But the next day when we got up to leave, my aunt was saying she didn't sleep well. And she was saying the reason she didn't sleep well is because she said the way she put it was, it just felt weird in there. And my other cousin can corroborate this story, because she has said at certain times, at a specific time of night, and I think it's when he died or when his soul passed on. I think that's what the time is. She said it just feels strange in there. But yeah, me, my mom, and my cousin basically threw hands over who was not going to sleep, who was going to pick that short straw and end up sleeping in the room that my grandfather died in. That was, ugh. And you know what, my aunt, when she has to stay with my grandma over Christmas or over a holiday, she's a bold one. She will sleep in that bed. I guess she doesn't. I guess she's fearless, and also she doesn't believe in ghosts. So I guess ignorance is bliss. But that is the end of the video. Happy holidays. I would say happy Christmas, but we're not at Christmas yet. It's only December 6th. So happy holidays, and I will see you all on the next special holiday episode of Painted Haint. Good night. We're gonna go watch One Piece. Zoro. Girl. Happy holidays.